Welcome to the Aegance Offscript Podcast, where we talk to industry leaders who share their stories, insights, and lessons, unfiltered and unscripted. I'm your host, Lawrence, and today I'm really pleased to be joined by Abdullah Ghadbhan, Managing Director of Quodless Technologies. Now, Codeless Technologies is a UAE-based no-code, low-code development agency specializing in building web and mobile applications, internal tools, and dashboards using platforms like Bubble and Flutterflow. Their mission is to help businesses move faster, reduce complexity, and launch digital solutions without the traditional heavy lift of custom development. Abdullah, thanks for being here.
Thank you, Lawrence, for this great introduction and perfect introduction. And yeah, I'm really glad for being here.
Great to have you here. Would you mind providing a bit more context? I know that I've positioned Codeless to a certain degree, but I'm sure there's a lot more context that you can give us.
Well, actually, Codeless started because of its name, Codeless. And as you can see in this shifting world and the upcoming trends in AI and low-code tools and automations, we have decided to go codeless, using less code in our development, reducing the costs, especially here in the MENA region. There's a huge requirement for such services. So that's why we positioned ourselves here and to serve this market and its requirement, as it's very fast-paced, low-code, and AI provides basically solves this gap of cost and time.
So you've built Codeless around speed and accessibility. What's the core vision that drives that?
Well, basically, we have found that in general, like ourselves and the market we are serving, there's always a demand for an application at the time being right now. And to be honest with you, like legacy systems and general softwares are kind of pricey in that sense and could take some time. And from the date of the requirement to implementation to use, that is the solution that we're solving and we're looking to solve. It is basically to serve the client with a custom solution based on their requirement and at the time being, because everyone requires it now or yesterday, basically, as most people say it.
Was there a particular gap that you saw in traditional development that sparked the approach and sparked the creation of Codeless?
Well, basically, I was the first person, you could call it a use case, basically, and we were procuring for the company I used to work out. They were procuring legacy software and ERP system, and I personally believe that it was a very urgent requirement, for the business processes, for the general procurement, operations, and sales procedures. They required a right now software. And basically, I was one of the people who were working on implementing that software, or getting that software and implementing it within our team. It took us a long time to, first of all, to figure out our requirement until we found a software that would most approximately serve us. It was not very custom, and to be honest with you, it was a bit on the pricey range of softwares, SaaS products. So I believe that there should be another solution. Like in other markets, there are other tools and low-code tools that could serve the same purpose with a cheaper price. So that is basically what sparked the whole idea.
And now you are both the co-founder and managing director. How has your leadership style adapted as the business has matured? You've been around since 2022. That's a reasonable period of time to have figured a few things out. Tell us a little bit about your leadership style.
To be honest with you, at this point, I strongly believe that throughout the whole journey, it's just a learning journey. Every day you learn something new. You could never call it like, that's it, I've learned or I figured it out. Because to be honest with you, in this field, there's no figuring things out. You learn along the way. And thankfully, I have two other co-founders with me. They're very supportive, especially on the technical side and branding and so on. So having partners with you is one of the most important things, to be honest with you. in this field, because everyone should handle a part of this this business in general. And adapting the leadership style, it's not like whether did you or you did not adapt. It is that you should adapt, because to be honest with you, not adapting your style and changing the leadership and even changing the business model along the way, it is like a suicide mission, you could call it, because you'll kill your company if you do not adapt. And if we did not have to adapt and change, I don't think we have survived until now.
And again, coming back to sort of co-roles of being both a co-founder and a managing director, I mean, balancing vision versus execution can often be quite tricky. I mean, how do you keep your team aligned to the long-term goals whilst also handling, daily client delivery?
To be honest with you, because we are a small team handling a lot of stuff, and that's one of the tricky parts, as you mentioned. The only solution I have is delegation and bookkeeping. Keeping everyone in check, having Notion pages, Google Sheets, having automation softwares, trying to automate every process possible. If I spend 10 hours automating a process that takes me 5 minutes, it's a win in my book. So that is, I think, one of the tricks up my sleeve.
Yeah. So it sounds like you got some specific systems in place, as you said, Notion pages, etc. But there is accountability on paper, essentially, and everyone can get a view on progression. Are there any specific habits that you've implemented across the team that keeps everyone connected to the bigger picture? Maybe it's a daily stand-up, it's a weekly connect. Any sort of habits,
Yeah, basically we have a group chat that nowhere should go into. It's just chit-chatting and everyone just like saying what's on their mind, jokes and so on. That's one of the ways we do it. Like having, general discussions other than work. And keeping them in track in terms of progress. We have constant meetings. There are project-related meetings, general company meetings, general coffee chats, depending on what we are trying to build. Because even although some people do consider that like coffee chats or general chit-chat is not a company requirement, but it builds the morale and general teamwork, and it builds the team in general. So that's one of our stuff that we do to improve the morale and general work.
Got you. And you referred a few moments ago to automations internally. I mean, I'd assume that running a no-code development agency means operating at speed. Can you tell us a little bit more about some of the internal systems that you've designed so that growth doesn't create chaos?
Well, actually, we are always designing and building new internal systems for ourselves. Like one of our major softwares that took us a very long time to build, it's called QHub. We have one of our very talented people working on it. And basically, this is like an all-in-one software for the automations we use, such as, for example, from creating invoices to proposals to quotations. We use an internally built software through Google Sheets, Google Scripts, and some low-code implementations too for the front end. A very small, small-scale software. It fully automates all administrative documents such as proposals, quotations, invoices, and so on. And we generally rely on inbuilt softwares. We do not get off-the-shelf products such as Salesforce or just the general CRMs, because we think our requirements is very, very specific. We just want a software that fully serves us. So we always try to build it internally.
Which parts of delivery are hardest to scale? Is it the project management? Is it the QA? Is it client communication, perhaps?
Uh, to be honest, like the hardest part of delivery is, you could say, the end of the project, because at the end everyone is included. The project manager, the QA, the dev, the design. Sometimes we get the designer on board, because at the end of the project, that is one of the, you could say, not difficulties, but resistance we could face in a project, which is at the end of any project, we could reach a point where the client is not very comfortable with the project. So it is our job, and it is a requirement from the project manager, the QA, the dev, the designer, even ourselves as the management of Codeless, to make sure that the client is comfortable with accepting the app, deploying the app. It is aligning with their business model. So to be honest, I would call this is the hardest part, which is handing over the project, and it includes everyone on the team.
And many teams are currently experimenting with AI internally to boost capacity. Have you looked at automation or AI assisted systems to streamline your workflows?
100%. Actually, that's one of our main focuses right now. We have built some tools to automate basically creating the AI agents. Hopefully, we'll be launching a new tool for the public to use. It's a very simple tool. Keep on the lookout for that. It's a very simple tool that creates AI agents with no technical requirements. It's just a dashboard. You input the information and it creates an AI agent with an API. So we use this, for example, for creating the AI systems. Other than that, we use automations for like collecting leads, sorry, shortlisting the leads, and so on. And to be honest with you, we have a very good agent that we input all of our financial data, projects incoming and outgoing, to get the analytics and you could say financial decision making. It tells me that. So yeah, we rely so much on AI.
I think a big talking point at the moment is obviously keeping the human in the loop. I mean, where do you decide where human judgment remains and where you can let the AI do its thing?
I strongly believe that AI should never do its thing only. There should be like a human oversight, if you could call it. Basically, because at the end of the day, it's there to help you. It's just a tool. It's not a humanoid robot. It's a tool to help you out. So based on the data you provided, that's the first point. A human should do that. A human should check out what the kind of information is being provided to the AI and utilized by the AI. And the second point, which is the human oversight, which is the human should be at the receiving end. I do not, and I don't think we would ever connect an AI that provides decisions directly to clients. The person delivering decisions or suggestions should be me to the client after I consulted with my team, my AI tools, and so on.
And where do you see artificial intelligence creating the biggest leverage for a company like yours?
Well, actually, to be honest, it enables our company. Because if you think about it, if you go back, I don't know, 10 years ago, where the technology did not reach this point, I don't think our company would exist. We are building huge softwares. We're expanding into markets, and we are being enabled by those tools. It provides us with the resources that we need to operate at this level. Otherwise, we would require huge amount of manpower, which of course would require huge budgets and processes. So AI kind of simplifies this field of business for us.
And if we turn our attention to client acquisition, winning clients in a crowded no-code space can be quite challenging. What differentiates Codeless when you talk to prospective clients?
Well, actually, in our region, focusing on our region, because there is a requirement for more low-code agencies, more AI agencies in this region. And I strongly believe that there's a lot of opportunities. But basically, what we do over here is, first of all, sometimes we have clients who are not familiar with low code or would just directly, if you tell them about low code, they're directly connected to simple softwares, which are good, but would not serve, the full solution, such as Shopify or no, small, the low code softwares. So helping our clients understand that low code could be very advanced to a level where they would not know that it was built on low code or AI. And that's the first part, educating them about the possibilities of low code. Second of all, we are a low code agency, but we focus on the research and development. If we get a project from an entrepreneur or a startup that wants to scale it up, we are all the way all the way with them. We follow them from the journey of initiation to deployment, even post-deployment. We help them out build their business models. We do the research on how to make their app better with all of the market features and all of the expectations to expect from it.
And how do you reassure them about the scalability and long-term maintenance of the product?
Well, first of all, our business model, if a client they have as many customizable packages as they want. They can customize the requirement however they want, such as would they like to pay a one-time payment for us, get the software and just operate it in-house. If they want us to like a retainer contract with upkeep their software, maybe even do regular audits and market analysis for the features and what they could improve within their softwares. We could do some cleaning for this. So we have a lot of other services that complement the main product to ensure that they're comfortable, that if they decide to move on with us, they are not just like going to a retailer where buying an item and leaving. No, they could be supported by us until however they see fit from the start.
How are your clients finding you from a go-to-market strategy? What is their route to finding Codeless and then opening the doors for you to talk about the possibilities that you can provide to them?
Actually, to be honest with you, this is a tricky question because we have rebranded ourselves recently due to this idea, which is we have found a little bit of issues getting clients, you could say, from our online channels. So we have rebranded ourselves and cleaned our digital presence, and we're working towards that. Thankfully, we have a good retention rate and the word of mouth, as they call it, within networks of our network. So that's one of our main client outreaching. And one of the other ways, which is through SEO, SEO optimization and having our landing page. Some people go through it, and of course through our partners. We are listed on Bubble as an agency. We do get some leads through that, and we're hoping for our next chapter as Codeless to get some new clients through our socials and our new partnerships with companies such as Odoo.
And you've alluded to the fact that you've got a nice sort of base of retained clients. I'd imagine that adoption is key to retaining clients, but it's often the hardest part. I mean, how do you help clients embed the solution so they become a daily part of the client's operation?
Well, basically, because most of our clients are either startups or running mid-sized companies, you could say it. Basically, because if once you get a software, you always want to upgrade it to keep up with the general trends. So if they have all of those ideas that they want to implement and visualize, first, us as professionals in this field, we help them clean out their ideas. We help them figure out what they need and what is doable right now with the time frame that they have, with the limitations that they have. So by figuring out like their whole plan, because most of the time no one has just a small idea, they want everything. So we divide it into smaller projects where, however, it can be implemented. We provide them with a long-term, basically a long-term upkeeping of the software. Some additional features come along the way, especially for corporations. I strongly believe that no company can have a software that hasn't been updated for 2 years. At least there always should be continuous updates for the software because the internal processes change. So it needs to be upkeep to the most recent processes in a company.
And when you're delivering your solutions, I mean, how much focus do you place on data? Ensuring that clients not only use their new tools, but also gain the types of insights they need out of them.
Yeah, basically we do regular follow-ups and checkups with the client to make sure that it is being properly utilized. Personally, we do not prefer to collect any hidden data or information from the software itself, unless the client requires it, by embedding analytics tools and so on for the client themselves, and we are collecting it back from the client to ensure that everything is done properly. And sometimes some of our clients, we do provide them with you could call it a full customer support plan, which includes the general analysis and audit of the system. The system in terms of its technical viability, its operational viability, its KPIs or certain analytics required by the client.
And Abdullah, if you look at Codeless Technologies as a whole, what right now is working very well within the company?
The client relationship, or I would say the research and development, because they are interconnected. Because at the end of the day, us as an agency, we are responsible for making sure the software is as required. The client, being the client, is not expected to have the technical knowledge or the know-how. So it is our responsibility to make sure that the client gets what they need, not what they actually think they want, because they do not know, they're not specialized in this field. So it's our responsibility to ensure that, and I think that's what we do best.
Yeah. And then I always like to add on the flip side of that question, if you look at the company as a whole again, what's not working well? Where are the friction points currently?
There are two major points which are also interconnected. It is cash flow, and in general, you could say the sales acquisition, or sales and project ratio, you could say. Because as any small startup or a small team suffers from, thankfully, we do have clients, but their payment terms, their payment dates do not match properly with our requirement. So at the end of the day, you'd face an issue with the cash flow because we run strictly on revenue. So that is one of the main challenges we face. The other challenge we face, which is getting the sales while handling projects, focusing on both, making sure you get a proper sale, a proper client, and scoping the project properly, while also handling the internal projects at the same time. So this ratio is very hard to call it balance, basically.
And Abdullah, if we cast our gaze into the future, let's say in 3 to 5 years, where do you see Codeless Technologies within the broader industry?
Well, because we try to adapt as much as we can adapt. So hopefully within the next 5 years, as per our long-term plans, we are hoping to expand into other sectors of our market, having small departments and ready-made products by building our portfolio. And to be honest with you, we're hoping to get into the gaming industry and the studio industry, because it's I think we have a lot of ideas that can be implemented, and by utilizing AI tools and the technology to come into the future, we could build amazing products that could really benefit our customer base.
What does success look like for you in that future?
Oh, that's a very hard question. Well, success actually just to be honest with you, the whole segments and the whole sectors of the company working in synchronization. That's the successful measure for me, which is having many teams working together, synchronized with this what they call it, very seamless interaction between the softwares, and yeah, that's basically the general success for any company, which is having their teams operating at maximum efficiency.
And Abdullah, if our listeners and viewers want to reach out and connect with you and the team at Codeless, where's the best place for them to do that?
Well, actually, they can connect to us on our website. They could take a look at it. They could go to our Instagram page or my LinkedIn, and at info@Codeless or hello@Codeless.com.
Amazing. Well, thank you so much for joining us on the podcast today. It's been a really fascinating conversation looking at the reasons and the vision behind Codeless and the journey to date, and then also looking into the future and where you want to be in the next 3 to 5 years. Thank you for the insights.
Thanks so much, Lawrence. We appreciate it.
That's it for today's episode of the Aegance Offscript Podcast. If this conversation sparked something, a thought, a question, or a new way of seeing your own business, like the video, subscribe to the channel, and leave a comment down below. We'll catch you on the next one. Cheers.